How's it going, guys? Welcome to the Paint Geek channel. Today we have a guest, Garrett, which is a local painter, local gamer, and also a local 3D printer master, wizard. What would you call yourself?
Hobbyist.
Hobbyist. Yeah, I actually have a few of the terrain pieces that Garrett printed out, which are amazing quality. So if you guys, I could put a link of some of his stuff out there, but if you're interested out there getting some terrain, sci-fi, whatever the case, this might be the guy or knowledge because I'm sure he has a lot of the 3D printing knowledge, um, more than most at least. And I'm sure that community in itself with 3D printing, a lot of people like to pick each other's brains with adjustments or filament and files and things like that. So hey, Garrett's your guy. Also, he just got back from Adepticon. So how was it? Tell us about it, Adepticon.
It was busy. It was actually really cool to see so many people out in a convention. It's my second time going to Adepticon. The first
Okay.
time was about, I say 7 years ago, and it wasn't near the same size, but
Right.
this was significantly larger this year, and you had a lot more people and a lot more space for people to be playing.
Nice. So you also went to LVO and that gap wasn't too much of a time difference. So like LVO was what, February?
LVO was January, like the end of January, so
Yeah, and
almost
then right
February.
away you have Adepticon. So
Yeah.
what was the difference you think between the two as far as like the turnout or the gameplay? Because I know that they consider Adepticon to be like the bigger convention, right?
Yeah, Adepticon is now definitely one of the bigger gaming conventions. LVO is decent sized.
Yeah,
Um, I don't think that they had near the same showroom as Adepticon, so the actual vendor hall wasn't near as large.
sure.
So if you have more of mini painting and different printers and just game vendors in general, there
Yeah,
was a lot more at Adepticon.
really. And
Yeah.
what did you play? Because you went and you played games at both conventions, right?
Yeah, so uh I played actually XWing at both of them.
Okay.
That's my main game. I've been playing that for 10 years. I'm trying to probably branch out a little bit into Legion, and I just ordered a bunch of Shatterpoint stuff.
Oh yeah. Counterpoint's right on the
And
corner. Everyone's excited for that. There's a lot of, especially after Adepticon kick, so many demos, so many gameplay, a lot more rules, understanding of the rules, and the drops of like the previews and like the sneak peeks. I mean,
oh yeah.
Shatterpoint definitely made some noise. So yeah, tell us about X-Wing. I recently, I never played X-Wing. I have an X-Wing ship because I meant the Razor Crest just because I thought
Hmm.
it was cool, like that little
Yeah.
expansion for it.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about getting the actual like starter set, but I know some of the guys at the game stores are like, if you get that, the rules are pretty much out the window because everything got revamped, right? The rules are completely different.
Yeah.
How was
So
the gameplay? Yeah, tell us about it.
actually very soon, I think it's by summer, they're releasing new starter packs.
Oh,
So it's
cool.
going to have all the new rules, all the objective tokens that they need. And unlike the original starter packs where it was just either First Order and Resistance or Rebels and Empire, you're actually going to have a starter pack that's set up for one of the seven factions. So you're
Gotcha.
actually going to have four ships for that one faction, which is great for new players. They should have had
Right.
that out like a year ago, but
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree because that's one of those things that it's kind of like what they did with Legion. They make you almost want to print out a whole new book, right?
yeah,
And so, with X-Wing, I mean everything, Armada, X-Wing, they had the other one was like the Imperial
Imperial Assault.
Assault. There you go. That's another game that I feel like that got overlooked and they kind of buried that. But there's still a
Yeah.
lot of players for it. Now I hear that they have an AI for it, kind of like
Mm,
Descent and all the app driven games. I
yeah.
guess Assault now you can just run it with an app, if you will. I guess it's like a fan made app, and I think that's pretty cool. Um, but X-Wing, they're just having a whole new like starter set and everything ready to go, right?
Yeah, so that's going to be a whole entire new sometime the end of the year. I think it's like $70, but you get four ships and all the rules and all the tokens and all that fun stuff.
That's pretty cool.
Um, the biggest change for us, because I mean, Legion had some rule changes, not super big changes. But with
Right.
us, the game went from on the competitive scale from being just a straight death match to now you have objectives on the table.
Right.
And some
Makes
people
it more
weren't
like
super cool with that.
skirmish. Yeah, it makes it more of a
Yeah.
skirmish. Like, yeah,
But once you get used to it, it's not too terrible. I think right now the biggest thing is they changed how the point system works,
gotcha.
and they're in the middle of trying to revamp that because 2.0 when that launched, we almost had really really good balance, and then they did the switch from FFG to AMG, and
Right.
they're trying their own process, of course. So
Right.
there's gonna be
Yep.
hiccups. Period.
Yeah. So,
Uh,
and being competitive, I mean, that's a whole nother thing. So they take it, you took it to the competitive level. I mean, you're going to these events. I think that separates a lot of people from just playing the game to, then there's that also group where they're like taking it to that next level, which is
mhm.
competing on table. But not only that, our boy Garrett entered in the competition, right? Was it the painting competition for XWing or was it
It was for X-Wing.
okay?
It was sanctioned apparently though by Adepticon. I didn't actually realize that until after.
I was going to ask you
Um,
that. So when you got there, did you know that there was a category or like a painting competition for that, like for XWing or
well, the last few worlds that I've been to for X-Wing, there's always been something for the best painted ships.
gotcha?
So I figured, hey, you know what? I'm going to be going to worlds. I might as well paint up a squad to have
Yeah.
and enter it in. Uh, the contest was a little weird, because everybody got entered into it. And what they did
Gotcha.
is they had the judges go through in each table as people were playing. They were taking pictures of your ships, and just getting different angles from everything.
So
And
this
then they,
contest is happening as you're playing.
yeah, yeah,
People are, oh, I thought it was like a submission where you have your piece and you submit it.
no, because that's why I originally thought it was going to be because that's what they've done before is they've had submissions for them. But this one, I think, because it was kind of an international effort this time, the X-Wing group got together and actually flew in a bunch of judges from around the world
Oh,
because
cool.
it's pretty international. So you had a bunch of people working all together, and it was kind of a little wonky, but overall pretty good. And so I think the painting part didn't quite get to where it wanted to be until like the second to last day,
Gotcha.
and that's when they decided to go ahead and do it.
Were you aware? So I guess when you went and you entered and you started playing, did you kind of was there like a separate sign up for that and or they were just kind of judging like overall like open judging or open entering like the competition? Like was it something that you were aware of that oh while you play it's your models are because I mean they come pre-painted, right?
Yes, so all X-Wing stuff is pre-painted.
Okay.
And then
But you
you
took
can
it to the
custom
next
paint them.
level because
Yeah,
what you entered was this insane the TIE fighter looks like something out of like Borderlands with slash I don't know something out of like Blade Runner, like very sci-fi, very steampunkish.
yeah,
What you entered was that when I saw that, I mean, of course, that's going to stand out.
yeah.
And so, tell us about what you received for it. Like
So for that one, my inspiration for it was Retro Wave. I don't know if
retrowave,
you're
cool. Yep.
familiar with that. Kind of did like the wings and the uh, dark colors with the center cockpit supposed to be more of a sun. So
So
sadly,
cool.
the
Yeah.
pictures don't pick up the red gradient super well going up into the yellow, but that got me a really cool medal. Um,
Right.
and it also they gave some swag out for the game for it. Uh, but yeah, but now I'm technically an Adepticon medalist painter.
That's yeah, hey, that's some bragging rights there because you're able to go, you've competed, and you come out with like something completely opposite where you're going for like the competitive side on the board,
Hmm.
but yeah, you come out winning with like a piece, a game piece, a medal for that, right? That kind of recognition is pretty
Oh yeah.
awesome. What kind of paint did you use for this transition? The different like how should I say like the wing and then because that fluorescent look on the wing is really cool. It almost reminds me of like solar panels. It's like you
Hmm.
get like that different gradients of color. What do you use to paint? Like these models aren't. There's a lot of. Did you break it apart or did you paint it as
No,
is?
It was painted as
Okay, because I was gonna
altogether.
say getting under there
Yeah.
must have been a pain.
No, it was not fun. So I usually use an airbrush for my priming and for my base coats of stuff.
Sure.
But in this case, I had never tried to do a gradient. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try airbrush gradient on this, and went ahead and yeah, it turned out pretty well.
Yeah, it's real smooth, really smooth. I like the like I said, that's what really stood out is I mean obviously the yellow is gonna draw your attention.
mhm,
It's just such a like a uh it's just centered, right? And then but you look at the wings and you're like, especially the angle, the photo shot, is it's one of those things that you're looking at like gradients that you're talking about,
mhm.
and then you have this edge highlight of a red, kind of rusty look.
Yeah,
What was is that what it was,
yeah.
or am I looking at it different?
So that the some of the edges, I took the pink actually
The pink, yeah,
of the that I used to kind of dry brush the struts a little bit because I did I think it was the darkest contrast paint actually for the struts, the between the wings for the purple.
right.
And of course, that's not going to show all the details very well. So I went through and hit it with the pink. And when I was trying to get all the dry brushing on the struts, I accidentally hit a little bit of the yellow. And I was like, oh, this came out like a nice orange burnt color to it. So I was like, all right, I have to get a little
Uh,
bit in here and here. So it
that's
was one of those
cool.
happy accidents where I was like, oh,
Happy
hey, this is
accidents,
actually,
yes. I was gonna say that was like a Bob Ross moment.
yeah, it really was. It was like, oh, hey,
Yeah,
this actually turned out a lot better this way because it helped give the illusion of the glow, that red glow. So,
it was perfect. It looks great. Congrats, man. That's really cool. Another thing is that you're local. A lot of us, you've gamed with a lot of people. I have yet to play Legion against you. We have to play sometime, but I know, we see each other at the local events or things like that. So
mm,
I mean, an event in Chicago, in Las Vegas. I mean, it's one of those things that it's cool to have a local, someone from out here that we know, and even though like it's not I mean, it's an Adepticon medal, like you said, it's a cool little medal, but it's still some sort of recognition. It's something that it's bragging rights. Like I said,
yeah.
it's something that's really cool to, and being a local guy is kind of representing. There's a lot of, I mean, there's talent all over this world, right? A lot of
Hmm.
people from the, Europe, but we have it's cool to see like that Central Valley get kind of a highlight with somebody like in this community, at least for like the painting miniature for the hobby, I should say, right?
Hmm.
And those of you that don't know, like these models, I have the Razor Crest. They're tiny, right? They're like small scale, and he went ahead and like painted this thing to his own color scheme, and that I think that's cool too. So the category was it then it was basically like an overall open category, right? It wasn't like a because they had Imperial. Did they have like a best rebel painted?
Yeah. So each of the seven factions got a best of, and then there was a runner up. I don't think the runner up actually got anything except for some swag. They didn't get the medal.
Sure.
I originally thought there was supposed to be a best of show, but as far as I can find, no one said anything about a best of show. So it was just best painted for each faction. Um,
There a lot of signups though, like as far as the competition goes. I mean, there was a lot of
so
players, right? Or
for this event, you know about the last chance qualifier for Worlds.
yep,
So
yes,
last chance qualifier filled out for this event for 180 people.
wow,
They took the top 60 from that group, plugged them into the other event that had 180. So in total, you had 120 plus about 300 players in total
wow,
playing at Worlds. Um,
that's big,
yeah. So it was a decent showing, and there was actually a lot of commissioned paint jobs out there
right,
because I saw like going through the hobby stuff, like you saw these paint jobs and then you saw them there at Worlds. So
right.
you were going against people that have been doing this as their
There you
job.
go.
So
I
it's
mean
like,
that alone tells you, man, you did. That's awesome that you struck that medal. At least you brought back some hardware. That's great.
mhm.
What did you pick up as far as swag overall? Games, miniatures. Was there a lot of like things that you've? Because I mean, I've been to a lot of little conventions where they have different set of like on a different models on a different scale, whether it's like World War II stuff
Mhm.
or very like the old monsters, right? Like the Universal Studio monster models. What kind of stuff they had? I mean, I'm sure they had some crazy, maybe never before seen board games or rare games or like rare miniatures. What did you get? What kind of swag did you grab?
So I grabbed up some more stuff for Legion. My wife actually saw a fun looking miniatures game because it's actually I thought it was going to be more board games and miniatures, but it was a straight miniatures convention except for a few board games.
Sure. Yeah.
And so she was walking around the convention floor while I was playing, and she was like, "Oh, this game looks really cool." So we went over and checked it out, and it was Infinity. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Oh, yep.
It's
That
been
that
around for
company
like,
is from like Spain or Italy, right?
yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
yeah, yep.
So
They're like,
we
are they still pewter like metal?
yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's like their detail is great though for being
Yeah.
casted in that and for being the metal miniatures. And that's some stuff. I have a bunch of like the attachments, I guess you could say,
Hmm.
attachment models for that game. It's one of those things like we saw, I've seen that game and it looked very interesting. And another friend of mine told me about to get into it,
Hmm.
and they had these cool one-off attachments you could have for the game. But another thing, and I had this conversation with a few people that sometimes we get the game or the box because of the miniature, right? That's
Yeah.
what kind of sells us. It's kind of like the old VHS movies that you don't know what the movie's about, but the art is insanely like it's very impelling, right? So
Yeah.
I saw Infinity, and we're fan of sci-fi and whatever the case. It reminded me a lot of like some Warhammer feel, like the 40K stuff because of like the Tau and things like that.
Yeah.
Then you see that they run like they have a faction almost for like ethnicities, like they have like the races, right? And
Yeah.
that game is something that if you guys never played this or looked into Infinity, you definitely should. There's a lot of games out there that I know a lot of people are just solely one company, right? But once you
Hmm.
start to branch off into multiple games, you find these little underground games. And speaking of Infinity, I feel like it's starting to make a lot more. I guess it's becoming a little more popular because then
Yes.
they're starting to put it in the mainstream. Like Miniature Market, I think sells it now,
Yeah.
and I think they have it on. In they're doing a lot of little promos, but that's what sold me was certain attachments that they have like samurai looking dudes
Yeah.
in a
The
sci-fi world. I mean,
yeah.
but they have like a sidearm and then they have a blade katana or like these crazy like mercenary dudes that you can hire for your faction. And they have cool terrain for Infinity, and
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen that also. I mean, building
Hmm.
terrain yourself, like how cool is it to add some Star Wars sci-fi terrain into Infinity,
Yeah.
or vice versa. But yeah, so then you guys picked up Infinity, and what else did you grab?
Well, so yeah, they did the whole entire. You play the demo. They gave you a blister pack with an Infinity thing, and then they had a box on sale. I was like, okay, let's go ahead and pick it up. Little
That's
did I know that I was going to be deep diving into the whole entire lore and into the game. I
yeah,
haven't even played the game yet. I just put the models together. I haven't even started painting them yet.
right.
Uh, but yeah, it's actually a very cool system. Feels very XCOM-y if you've ever played XCOM.
Yeah.
Um, and so we picked that stuff up. We picked up quite a few paints. You're probably familiar with like Turbo Dork. My
Yep.
wife loves the color changing stuff, so we picked up a bunch of Turbo Dork.
Yep.
We got
They had a Adepticon exclusive red, right? Or something like that. They had an exclusive
oh,
color.
if
If you
they
didn't
did,
know,
I
you probably
she
missed it.
didn't she went there the second day, so they
Oh,
might
it
have
was
already been
probably
sold out by
gone.
the
Yeah, it
time.
was probably gone.
Yeah.
I think they announced that they had a Adepticon special Turbo Dork red or something like that.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And they had like an exclusive con color. Because I've been messing with a lot of their colors also,
Hmm.
and I've seen that, and yeah, it would be cool to just go to the booth and see the big AK Interactive. I think they had a lot of like new colors that they were gonna push out. And what pigment did you get? Did you get like more Turbo Dork and what else?
So yeah, I got Turbo Dork. The wife picked up another set of stuff from Skill 75.
Oh, yep, that company
And
is
then
so hard to
I
get stuff off of.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then I picked up some the Pro Acrylic from Monument Hobbies.
Oh yeah, they had a
So I
huge
got
booth there, right? They had a big
yeah
setup. Yeah.
they had a big thing there, so I got a few paints there, and I'm probably gonna be picking up their base set because honestly were letting people try out the paints on their booth,
Right.
and it was some very nice solid pigmentation across all the paints. So
Yeah, I think the viscosity that whatever they're doing with their formula is really it's a lot of the stuff I've been using that's on my like paint desk right now is Pro Acryl, and they just released the wash series.
mhm.
So I'm about to try those out. just because like when you're one of those things that you want to get like a one-off model just to try certain things. If you're
Hmm.
not used to it, you want to see how paint reacts. You want to see how the paint is gonna layer on, like you said, if it's gonna be
Hmm.
too thin or. But I feel like a lot of colors, my go-to colors whenever I'm doing, if you instead of doing just fat coats of paint, to get stuff going, you don't really need to thin it down too much. And
Hmm.
I feel like it on the wet palette, it stays pretty it doesn't dry out as easy. And I have a few of their sets, and the nice thing about their set is or their website is you can just pick and choose which colors you want.
Hmm.
So if you want to
Yeah.
try out, if you want to try out like a certain red, go on their website. It's like $3 or something, or three whatever they sell for,
Yeah.
50.
It's actually relatively reasonable. I can't remember what it
Yeah,
was,
it's not
but
too bad. And I mean, they're good sized bottles. I have one right here. This
yeah.
is the Burgundy. But they have really good viscosity of paint. Scale 75. I mean, I like the way some of it for using like a lot of their stuff when it dries, it's very matte, like matte
Hmm.
finish. And the
Yeah.
Pro Acryl has like something in between. It's not too glossy. It's not a Citadel paint, but I feel
Hmm.
like some Citadel paints do fail, like with whether you wanted to, how many times you have to put coats. And Pro Acryl, I mean, it's something that I tell people like, hey, try those out,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
have a really good paint range with when you buy the box set. It comes with, I think I forget how many numbers they come in, but it's a pretty good primaries, and then you got like the one-off colors.
Yeah. I think it's like 22 paints or something like that. 22,
Yeah,
somewhere in
it's
that
definitely
range.
worth it. If you once you try a few, you might as well get the starter set. So or like they have like starter set one, two, three, and then they have
Hmm.
like the metallics, and I'm a fan of all of them. So I'm about to try the washes and see how those work.
Yeah.
And aside of all this, I do a lot of the live stream stuff on the Twitch, and we can do something covering the washes, using them for the first time, which I think it'd be cool. Now that you're talking about Infinity, it'd be cool to do like Infinity model
Hmm.
and do a very bright one pass of different colors, like primaries or block off colors, and then do some washes of Pro
Yeah.
Acryl, compared to like Army Painter or the Citadel washes, like the stuff we usually go to.
Yeah.
But other than that, what else did you get? Like, did you see any? Was it kind of like a swap meet feel? As far as like, did you find? I don't know how like find a certain like little rare things and whatnot.
Oh yeah. It was kind of interesting because there were a few stores that actually had full on individual, like if you're in Warhammer 40K, they had full on minis that were painted, and you could buy a few already assembled in these drawers that you could just pull out, grab whatever you want for whichever armor that you're going for.
Nice.
Um, and then yeah, it was there was a interesting feel to it. A lot of it was still vendors like you normally would at any kind of con. Um, but it was just cool because I mean, it's all minis and board games, so you're going to be able to actually demo most of that stuff right then and there and
Absolutely.
actually see how it works.
So, do you have any plans to go to another convention? Do you have anything lined up? Are you going to Nova? I know that's in August. Are you going to do these the same ones? Are you just trying to do LVO and Adepticon every year, or is there anything else?
Um, I'm depending on if Worlds is there again, I'll probably go to Adepticon next year again.
Cool.
Um, I do eventually want to get to Gen Con because that's of
GenCon, yeah,
course
that's another one, right?
that's always been like the big board game one, and
That's the
as you
big
can tell from
yes.
my
I've
shelves
yet,
behind me,
yeah, I've yet to
I'm
hit that one also, right?
uh the that would definitely be one of my go-tos. LVO kind of is one of those things where if I have the time, cool, I can go.
Absolutely.
Because it's what 6 hour drive for us. It's not too terrible. It's not great, but
Yeah.
um and
Right, you got to take all that in consideration, like the travels and like the hotel stay. I want to try to go to Nova. That's my plan. If everything aligns right, obviously, because things come up, schedules,
mhm.
whatnot, like with the family and things like that. So it would be cool we could hit Nova because I think that's another Worlds qualifier, or they're gonna do like it's like Nova
Oh yeah,
Open. Yeah. So
they've been the last few years that they've had it. There's usually been an open series for it. So if
right.
you're trying to do Legion or something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I know that there's another open for Legion coming up in the Bay Area.
Yeah, the Bay Area,
Uh,
and I think they have SoCal also.
yeah.
If you guys are into like the Legion, there's a Legion community. You guys could try check out the Discord at Lost Legion. You guys, we're both a part of that Discord. This is not a paid sponsorship, although they should pay us to sponsor the Discord. No, I'm kidding. JR and all the guys are probably laughing right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, most definitely there's a community for that. Song of Ice and Fire, there's a Warhammer community, there's I mean, in this for the local scene, there's a community for everything. And just
Hmm.
board games in general. There's a lot of people that just get together, play some games Friday night, whatever the case. Um but I thought this was a cool moment to get Garrett on to kind of give a little insight on Adepticon for those of you who have not gone or any convention or ever even competed into painting miniatures. I definitely encourage you guys to do it. I think
Yeah.
it helps you get to that. It separates you from just painting to push and to see what you're really made out of, or to see what your how it stands against other people. Like you said, there's commission painters, but yet he did something either creative scale or something that was just it stands out that these guys obviously took a notice, and you walk out with the medal, which I bet. I mean, it's one of those things that you probably had like no intentions to you didn't know you were going to compete, right? And then you're
Yeah.
coming out with a medal, and that alone, I'd be like, hey, I won. That's like a
Yeah.
small victory, right? So I
Yeah.
think that's cool, man. Congrats again on that. And yes, I'll get some info off of Garrett to see if he, if you guys want to talk about 3D printing or any kind of X-wings. This guy's an X-wing veteran, so if you have any questions on the X-wing, you get in contact with Garrett. We have also, like I said, the Legion podcast. There's a Legion Discord, and also for the Paint Unique Miniatures channel. So go to like and subscribe it. We'll do live streams, and we all painting, and we also doing some or myself. We're doing a lot of techniques, things like that. I would love to sit with Garrett one day and just do a live paint. So and I'm doing that with multiple people, local guys. So it'll be just kind of hanging out. Spoke to a few guys at the shop, maybe get together at Legends or something and
Hmm.
do like a live paint, or we'll just record some cool stuff what we're working on. Are you working on anything special right now, just like the Infinity models, or what do you got going on?
I'm gonna be getting into the Infinity models once I finish up my Legion stuff, and I've just
For
got
sure.
my butt after doing the tie stuff. My butt has gotten into gear to like, okay, I need to sit down, finish up
Right.
my Legion because I have
Right.
a bunch, and then my wife is gonna be finishing up the clones,
That's cool.
so it'll be kind of a two for one couple thing.
Nice. Hey, there you go. Date night, paint night.
Yep. So,
Awesome, man. Well, congrats again, man. Thanks for joining. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, get some guys on there, view it, let YouTube gods know that this is worthy. Keep in contact. We'll try to update everybody on a schedule for Twitch. It'll be Paint Unique Miniatures on the Twitch screen. I'll put all that on the description. But again, congrats. Thanks a lot, Garrett.
thank you.
And we'll see you guys in the next one later on.